Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to do something a little bit fun. Maybe you might think strange, but one of the things I'm enjoying at this stage in my life with a young toddler is reading stories and story time at the library. Oftentimes I sit down and enjoy the story that the librarian's reading more than her. And I found a really cute book in the library the other day. It's called The Snail and the Whale by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. So let's have some story time. I don't think you ever get too old to hear a good story, even if you're like 100. It's a relaxing thing. Just sit down for 5 minutes, grab a cup of tea, and let's enjoy a story. This is the tale of a tiny snail and a great big humpback whale. This is a rock as black as soot, and this is the snail with an itchy foot. The snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffled and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. Oh, how I long to sail, said the tiny snail. I love this because I think a lot of us have that itchy foot for travel, and I really like this bit. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wiggle, sit still, say put." A lot of people in life say that to us dreamers, but no, just go and do it. She had a plan. But the tiny sea snail sniffed and sighed, then cried, "I've got it. I'll hitch a ride." You see, she writes in the rock. This is the trail of a tiny snail, a slivery trail that looped and curled. Ride wanted around the world. This is the whale, who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright. A humpback whale, immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and cold caves, and shooting stars and enormous waves. This is the tale of the humpback whale. He held out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me." This is the sea so wild and free that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far-off lands, with fiery mountains and golden sands. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. These are the caves beneath the waves, where colourful fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam past the whale and the snail on the tail of the whale. This is the sky so vast and high, sometimes sunny, blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, kind of like life, with zigzag lightning flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. And she gazed at the sky, the sea and the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, "I feel so small." But then the day came, the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to the shore. And this is the tide slipping away, and this is the whale beached. "Quick, off the sand, back to sea," cried the snail. "I can't move on land, I'm too big," moaned the snail. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, "I've got it," and she started to crawl. "I must not fail," said the tiny snail. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, "Sit up straight and don't talk." And this is the snail with the itchy foot. "A snail? A snail?" Oh, the teacher turns pale. "Look," says the children, "it's leaving a trail." This is the trail on the blackboard saying, "Save the whale." These are the children running from school, fetching the fireman, digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers saying, "Hooray!" as the whale and the snail move safely away, back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, "Oh, how times have flown, and how you've grown!" And the whale and the snail hold their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves, shooting stars and enormous waves, and of how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, slivery trail, saved the life of the humpback whale. And then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled the snails, one by one by one, and they sang to the sea as they set out to sail on the tail of the great humpback whale. Go out, have an adventure, and we're never too small to save people bigger than us. I hope you enjoyed story time by Rebecca of Chow and Chat.